Hi, I'm Alex.
And I'm Katya.
And this is PinkuBun and Jikan, our podcast where we talk about our lives, idols, and games of all kinds.
Be sure to follow us for our bi-weekly updates.
Welcome everybody to this week's episode of PinkuBun and Jikan.
Yay!
Alex and I are here with some really great things to share with you, right, Alex?
We got things and the stuff and the nice cameras and the whatnots. Obviously,
so
our cameras are here, but we're also looking at each other on a webcam, so
But this will work a lot better than recording just on our webcams.
It's a lot less computer intensive, at least.
We're hoping the quality at least will be better now that we both have nice cameras, and everything overall should be better. So, woo!
Yeah. Things and the stuff.
So, Alex,
Hi.
what has been going on in your life lately?
The things. I was at Techo last weekend in Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
Last weekend? Was that last weekend? At some point in time at the beginning of April, that happened. And
How was Techo?
that was really fun. I really enjoyed it. It was very stressful because my flights decided to hate themselves, but that's okay. Well, and by that I mean there was tornado warnings in Georgia, and so Delta canceled everything and hated me, but they were very nice and refunded my ticket and gave me a voucher, so I'm happy about it. It's fine. It was just, crying for
voucher?
6 hours. It's fine.
Oh.
And then
How did your idol panel go?
well, here's the thing. It was fine. It ended up okay, but we are, first of all, aside from the myriad of things that were a problem, including them not understanding what our panel was, so we didn't get the equipment that we were promised, or that we requested rather, even though other similar panels did.
Yikes.
They double booked our room. So I was setting up our room, and this guy walks in. He's like, "Oh, are you in here at 9:30 a.m.?" First of all, as well, and it was bad. And we ended up getting moved to a room that was better, but because I think we got moved, there were 6 people in the room, including Ken and Kayla and Lisa. So there were 4 people I didn't know that were there, and honestly, I didn't mind because I like small audiences. It was okay, but that's why I didn't end up recording it, and it was also just stressful trying to figure all that out. And then my computer wouldn't, or Lisa's computer who I was borrowing, wouldn't hook up to the projector, and I had to remember my entire PowerPoint, and Jenny couldn't make it because she was having problems that morning, and it was just a whole thing, but
It was the whole thing.
it was a whole thing, but it was okay. I mean, it turned out fine. The people that were there had fun. I gave out the rest of my business cards.
Yeah.
I had a lot of leftover Easter candy. It worked out.
Well, good. At least, now, you've learned a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So-
And I can kind of, I want to do it again and want to do similar things so I can grow. And whatnot.
That's what counts, I guess. But I'm glad at least you had a good time seeing everyone, because I know since you're far away,
8 million miles away. Yeah.
800 trillion miles away, seeing people means a lot. So I'm glad that you were able to spend time.
I should have closed my closet.
You know what? It's okay.
It's fine. What about you, Katya?
Well, gosh, what have I done? I went
Well,
to a
first of
wedding
all-
2 weeks ago.
First of all,
What?
you have been talking about something that you wanted to share for a week. And you keep telling me that there's something you want to tell me, but you won't do it until we're recording. Go. Do the thing.
So it's idol related.
I see. Okay, so we'll wait.
But the thing is, it's mostly life related. It's just it's very idol related, but it's not idol news, so I guess I can talk about it now. Let me find it on my phone. But okay, so I woke up, this was 2 weeks ago. I woke up and I was just like browsing social media like you do. I get up and I like browse social media for like an hour before I actually do anything. And so I check Snapchat. I have like a path. I do Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and then Twitter, because Twitter always takes the longest. So I got up and I was on Snapchat, and one of my friends is studying right now in Hong Kong, and they were going on a trip to somewhere. I don't remember where exactly, but they were like in the airport, and their Snapchat was just like, oh, there's a celebrity in the airport, like, it's whatever, you know, and there's like a big crowd, and like there was like cameras, and like you could see the person a little bit.
I know who's been in Hong Kong.
And then I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever, like that's normal, like she travels a lot, so it's whatever. And then I checked Instagram, and Kojiharu was in Hong Kong wearing a red hat. See, I don't know if you can see this. Wearing a red hat.
Show Alex. Yep.
Yeah. And like I saw this, and I was like, because let me tell you, my friend that was traveling knows nothing about Japanese idols.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw that on Instagram, I went back to Snapchat and I was like chatting her like, that's Kojiharu, a graduated member of AKB48. She does modeling and stuff now, and she's incredible. And like we had this like really long conversation about Japanese idols because she didn't know anything, and you know. So it was just a really like weird moment when like my worlds collided, and I knew that I wanted to tell you on this because I knew that you would appreciate it.
I do appreciate
but, like,
it.
Man, it was wild when I realized who it was.
I would have died. Like
I know, I would have died too.
Like, my heart is very delicate. Like, and I don't mean that in like a very like
Fragile.
emotional way. I mean like physically, like there's only so much I can take. If I were caught by surprise in an airport where like in the situations like airports and airplanes and like public transit and things like that, I just like as a person turn off. Like there's no personality, there's no nothing. I'm just like there, I exist, and I'm going somewhere, and I'm just like conserving my energy. I've like shut down. If something like that happened, I would just like my heart would blow up inside my chest.
Cardiac arrest.
It would just be like
immediately.
I can't. I was like, there's no emotion, there's nothing. It's just the end. Whew.
But yeah, that was a weird thing that happened. But aside from that, you know, life is happening. I went to a wedding, like I mentioned. It was a lot of fun because I hadn't been to a wedding in a couple of years. School is rough, to say the least. But 35 days.
It'll be less than that by the time this goes up.
It'll be 34 days.
Yeah.
So, yes, I am hanging by a couple threads, but I'm here.
And you were doing your best, and that's what matters.
Yes. Woo! But that's all that's happening in my life.
Yay! Well, what's happening in the game world? Here's the thing. Okay, so you said you had idol stuff to talk about, and so I was like, okay, I'll look for game stuff this week. I was like looking on the internet, and like every site, everything that I tried to look at, all they were talking about was Star Wars, which like I don't mind as a person, but I was like, is there nothing else happening? Like I don't understand. So
yeah. So
know that I tried.
I do have like a couple different things of game news that happened recently. So yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2 was announced. Yay! My boyfriend is very excited about it. I think the teaser was really good.
Here's the thing, though.
There's a teaser online, so...
Yeah, but, like... And after I was talking about it with other people, they are hopeful. I was skeptical because, like, the trailer for the first one was also good. Like, it gave people a lot of hope, and then it was, like, the worst shooter ever. So, I mean... No.
It's a mindless game, which,
Katya,
like, I don't want to say, like,
there's nothing special about Battlefront. Like, it's not even, like, Star Wars. Like, I will criticize that game to the end and back, because there's just, like...
No, I get it.
It is not very difficult to make a shooter compelling, just because the aspects that go into it are like a no-brainer at this point, and yet they still couldn't do it. Like, you play it for 5 seconds and you're like, I'm done. it's sad. So
Yeah,
I heard they're adding like a
I played
campaign
it a couple
and stuff.
times and
So hopefully.
yeah, they are. So they're adding like a story mode as opposed to just like the battleground kind of thing they have going on. So maybe. But other than that, what else is new? People are finally finding a secret ending to Breath of the Wild. Interesting. You can watch it on YouTube. I haven't watched it mostly because I intend on playing the game one day and I'd like to get that ending. But yeah, apparently there's a secret ending that apparently exists, which is really interesting, and people are finally figuring out
I won't
how
watch
to
it until I beat
achieve
the
it.
game because I still haven't done that.
Yeah.
But
So there's a secret ending to Breath of the Wild now. What else is new? Mass Effect Andromeda has, surprisingly, the reviews for it have gone up since its release. I know we talked on the last episode about how underwhelming it was, which it still kind of is, but a lot of the facial animation stuff that a lot of people had issues with has been patched now and is actually a lot better. So they realized there was something with the eye shading that just made them look like dolls.
yeah.
So, like, nothing was moving, and they fixed it, and a lot of it is a lot better, but still somewhat bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, and the last thing that I have for gaming news is the publisher of Dark Souls. We're going to find this really interesting. The publisher of Dark Souls has announced a game called Code Vein, which is a vampire RPG.
I'm in.
So there was some talk about that and what it might entail. There's some screenshots there. You can find them kind of like straight about the internet. But it looked really interesting, and I'm excited to see what they do with it. But yeah, vampire RPG. What?
Sure.
So that's all I have for game news.
Yay!
Yay!
Sparkle, 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 sparkle. In personal game news, I think I'm gonna download Elder Scrolls Online finally.
I did. I played the free thing on Steam this weekend.
Did you really? I saw it. I was messing around on the PlayStation Store or whatever, and I was like, oh, right. I kind of want to like, because it's not subscription anymore, and people say it's so much better than it was like when it first came out, and I'm like,
yeah.
All right. I think I gotta. Like,
yeah,
I can't
it was
be.
free on Steam this weekend. It was.
Yeah.
What?
I was gonna say I can't be me without playing it. It's just the way it is.
I mean, it was free on Steam until I think 10 a.m. this past Monday, but I played it and I had never played it before, and like I liked it, but like it just made me want to play Skyrim.
Yeah. I mean,
you know, I played the tutorial and it was on sale for $10 on Steam, I think. I don't know what it is normally, but
I think it's like 30.
I might pick it up.
Yeah. If we should play together, Katya.
Oh my gosh, we could! That'd be so exciting!
Friendship.
Yeah, no, that would be fun.
We could stream it together, Katya.
I'm like that cat meme that's like, yes, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do the thing. Alright, cool. I'm glad we all figured that out together.
And while we're on the subject of games, Alex and I's lives are really busy, so we don't have a game of the week, a new game of the week this week. But
I haven't been able to do it.
It's a continuation of last week. It's Starlight Stage. Again.
It's just gonna be Starlight Stage forever, maybe. I mean, it's not, but because of like life and things, I haven't really been able to play games much, you know? It's mostly still just Breath of the Wild and Starlight Stage and Alpha Bear. Did you play the Easter event in Alpha Bear?
No, I didn't. I didn't have a chance to.
Girl, you could have got the Easter Bearney.
I know. I saw it. I follow a Twitter that tweets about Alpha Bear, and I saw all the posts about it, but I didn't have, like, whenever I thought, like, oh yeah, I'll go log into Alpha Bear and I'll play the event, I, like, never got a chance to.
That's okay.
So.
It's alright. I forgive you.
But, yeah, same, like, I've just been playing Stardew Valley, and I haven't even played the new Overwatch event yet. But Stardew Valley and Starlight Stage, and yeah, that's where my life is at right now.
I got you.
So hopefully soon though.
Yeah. Not technically idol related, but music related. Like announced finally. I mean, she was doing like countdown for like the last like amount of time.
7 days.
Yeah, something like that. And it was killing me. And she announced that she's going to be doing a new album and also a comic. And I am just dying. Like, I'm just so excited. Every time Lights releases an album, I feel like my life changes, and like emotionally I like develop more as a person. And that sounds like an exaggeration, but it really isn't. It really isn't. She just means so much to me, and I'm just so excited to see and hear this next chapter in her career.
I'm excited too. I think that it'll definitely be good, and I'm really excited to see how she builds on Little Machines, because Little Machines was so good. Little Machines was a hit. So I'm really excited to see where she kind of goes with her image and her sound now that she has a comic and everything.
And now that her hair is bright red.
Yeah, I know. When Alex and I were talking about the teaser images, we were like, it must have taken several different, you know, like sessions of bleaching and processing
It's like
her to get all the black out.
It's Fire Engine red, and she's always had black hair, and I'm like, how?
So I guess we'll figure it out.
We will. We'll figure it out all together.
But yeah, I'll include links to the video in the description, so
go look at it.
everyone else can watch it. Go look.
Go look at the thing. All right, and take a drink of water before we get into this, because, man, do I have a lot to say. So, we're gonna talk about something
Wait,
that what?
Idols?
No. What?
Are we gonna talk about idols?
No. Oh, you had something else to say about idols. I'm
I
sorry.
actually have idol stuff that I wanted
Go
to
ahead.
briefly touch on.
Go ahead.
So, recently, so as we all know, AKB's 49th Sosenkyo is coming up. And I was looking at some statistics, not by choice, but by chance, of the DNPs for this year. And so, for those of you that don't know, a DNP is someone who withdraws from the Sosenkyo. So each year, AKB has like an election where they basically people vote for their favorite girls, and then the top couple get to be in singles and like get special promotions and stuff like that. And there's a lot of controversy over the legitimacy of the whole process, and a lot of girls don't want to do it because they know how bad it is. Like, they know kind of how rigged it is.
Well, it's not even just that it's rigged. It's just like the whole concept in general is like. Sorry, I just put chapstick on. The whole concept in general is like just not great. It doesn't really promote awesome morale. You know what I mean? It's just not. It's not the greatest system to have in place.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
So, this year, 22 members have announced DNP, including Yukirin, Sayaka, a couple others.
Really? I didn't even see that. Wow.
So, and I was looking at some statistics. So,
Good
last
for them,
year in
honestly.
2016, there were 22 DNPs, and 19 of those people graduated within the same year. So, and before that it was like 18 DNPs, 14 people graduated. Of those, 18 graduated within the same year.
Yeah.
And so the number has steadily been going up, that, you know, more people are announcing they're not participating in the Sosenkyo, and then they graduate.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's a little bit of a trend there, and the numbers are increasing. So I wanted to bring this to your attention, Alex, because I expect that we're gonna have a lot of graduations this year, and like a lot of people that aren't participating in the Sosenkyo are leaders in their sister groups and in you know, their teams. So
I don't
It's
think...
kind of worrisome, but...
I haven't looked at the
Free it.
list, obviously, because you are just now bringing it to my attention. But, like, you're right in the fact that usually if somebody does participate, there's, like, a correlation between them wanting to graduate soon. And I know that Yukidin has previously expressed that she will graduate once Kojiharu does, so she's probably planning on it pretty soon. But I don't... If it's within the year, it'll be, like, at the end, I think, because she is headlining a new group, like a new sister group. And, like, Sayaka's career, I feel like it wouldn't be a wise move for her to graduate right at this moment, considering she's, like, one of the top members of AKB and NMB. I was like, what other group is she in?
Yeah.
So it would... I don't know. It'll be interesting for sure. But I think, if anything, it's more just like a stand of being like, this isn't great. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
as
It's a movement, really.
Right. As I've kind of grown as a fan of idols, like at first, I think we all were very like pro the elections because it was like this exciting thing where you get to support your favorite girl. But like, once you start supporting girls who aren't in like the top 10, you kind of see what an effect it has on them, and like especially all the girls who don't even rank, and
they cry and they like apologize publicly, and like it's a big thing.
It's a big thing, and it's even like following like Dorina, for example, who is one of the top members. Every year that she doesn't rank first, I can like tell that it like has an effect on her, and I'm just like, I hope that she's like growing to realize that her
peace.
worth isn't if she ranks number 1 or not. So it's a rough thing. Yeah, it's a time.
Yeah, but I wanted to bring that up and to your attention just because it was just really interesting. It was like I was looking at the numbers and I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But anyway, that's my idol news for the episode.
Yeah, idols. Anyway, so our main topic for the week, I'm like nervous to talk about it.
It's a doozy.
It's a doozy. So, as when this comes out, I know it's gonna come out tomorrow for us, but you may be sick about hearing this, but I thought I found some really interesting points that I think a lot of people weren't talking about that I kind of wanted to bring up. So we're gonna be talking about the Ghost in the Shell movie and the like whole whitewashing controversy thing in the West world at the moment. A few things that I want to say before we get into this. First of all, most of my points were taken from a separate podcast that I was listening to, which is the Funhouse Movie Podcast. And so I would recommend going to and listening to that because they talk about all the things that I bring up in more detail, and they have an actor who is of color talking about his experience in it too, and it's really interesting to hear him talk about it. So
also, a note, our opinions are ours, so like we're speaking as ourselves, not as like anything else we may represent. So anything we say is just what we think on the inside.
It's true.
And
yeah. So also, I don't know if you have. I've never seen the original Ghost in the Shell. Have you?
yes,
Okay.
I was a really big fan of the anime in middle school.
And did you watch the movie?
No, I have not seen the movie yet. I wasn't really excited about it, mostly because I kind of like lost interest. I mean, like, I still like Ghost in the Shell, the anime, and the animated movie, like the anime movie, is really good, but I just, like, it kind of fell out of it, as you do, so I wasn't really, like, hell-bent on seeing the movie.
Yeah. I did see it, but like I said, I've never seen the original, and I do want to, like, just point out that despite some of the points that I'm going to bring up, like, whitewashing in Western media is, like, a huge problem, and something that is a lot more complex than just, like, one movie. So it's a very difficult thing to talk about, and just want to, like, throw that out there. But, so I saw Ghost in the Shell, and first of all, the movie wasn't great. Like, people think that it didn't do well because of all of the, like, talk about it, but, like, all of the controversy and the, like, whitewashing claims and all of that stuff. But, like, it also was just a super underwhelming movie. Like, there was really nothing special about it. Like, it looked okay, but, like, the writing wasn't great, the directing was, like, just okay, like, it was just kind of there the whole time. So I think that probably had a lot to do with its not great reviews.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is my review of the movie. It was overwhelmingly underwhelming.
Okay,
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, I kind of got bored and whatever.
You, like, expected more and got a lot less.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so after seeing the movie, because before I saw it, I was, like, also upset. I was like, why would they cast Scarlett Johansson as the lead in a Japanese movie? I don't understand. But after watching it, it almost kind of makes sense for her to be a different race. Now that I kind of understand what Ghost in the Shell is actually even about. So her character is not, I think, the problem. And after seeing it, I couldn't quite understand why everyone was, like, up in arms about her specifically.
Yeah.
What I had more of a problem with was the fact that the entire main cast was white. All of them except for, like, 2 people that, like, I wouldn't even honestly include in the main cast were not Japanese. And if this is supposed to take place in Tokyo, it feels weird. And a lot of people were talking about how, like, oh, well, it's, like, in the future, so everything could be, like, multicultural, and, like, everybody's just everywhere. And it's like, but every single background character and every person, and I was really paying attention to this, so if you were just casually watching the movie, you may not have noticed, but I was, like, really looking for it because I knew we would talk about it. Every single background character was Japanese. Every person walking in the streets, every person that you didn't know the name of, they were all Japanese. And every main character, aside from 2 or 3, was white. And I was like, that is problematic, you know?
Because you're talking about, like, on one hand, you're like, oh, well, in this, you know, new generation diversity-rich environment, you know, there's all sorts of people, but then in the background, the people that actually live there and the people that are actually supposed to represent the world and the community then are all Japanese. You're like, whoa, is this, like, individual group of people just, like, special? Like, it doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Right, and that's the thing, is, like, the entire main cast are all supposed to be, like, these super smart, like, scientist people running this technology company. It's like, so it's like they're in Japan surrounded by Japanese people, but all of the super smart people are white. It's like, well, I realize that it's probably unintentionally coming off that way, but that's the way it came off to me. And so, like, to me, I walked out of that movie going, why is everyone talking about Scarlett Johansson where there are so many other race problems in this movie? And I don't think that her character is the issue. And and this was one of the things they talked about in that podcast, was I think I understand why, from a business perspective, casting Scarlett Johansson made sense.
Yeah, because she's popular. She will get people to watch the movie.
Like, something like Ghost in the Shell is niche, and a lot of people, like, most of Middle America has no idea what it is, and to put people in those seats, you do need an actress that they know. In the case of Ghost in the Shell, it didn't work, but that's the mindset that a lot of executives have. I'm not making excuses for them. casting a white person instead of a Japanese person, but like I get why they do that because they need to make it marketable for people who aren't going to understand it.
Because, like, what I can imagine is, like, they cast, like, regardless if it's Scarlett Johansson, you know, if it were somebody else that was a really well-known actor or actress playing the main character, you're automatically like, wow, that's a blockbuster film, that's going to be in movie theaters. But if you cast someone less known or someone in a different, like, sphere of entertainment, so, like, say you hired a Japanese actress who was really big in Japan but not big in the US, it would be, the Ghost in the Shell movie would be brought to the US as an indie film. You would see it at indie, like, theaters, you would see it at small theaters, it would not get a huge release, which is the issue. Like, just the difference in, you know, what, like, how that works. So, like, if it had a more diverse cast or it had more Japanese people in it, it would automatically be labeled, like, a movie, like an indie movie, a niche movie that you would find at really small theaters, like a super small release. But because it has someone that we recognize as a culture who happens to be white in this case, it made it a big release. It made it like a big film that people talk about on like entertainment shows on TV.
But the US is obviously expected to represent all the cultures that exist in that country, and it's hard, you know, like a lot of people argue, and I don't necessarily agree with this stance, but I find it really interesting to look at stances I don't agree with, that Hollywood should not be expected to you know, be political and represent everybody. Like, it should just be an art form, and whoever is directing or creating that thing has the right to do whatever they want with it. I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, a lot of people are saying that, you know, the creators who goes in the show were happy with the casting, and so that makes it okay. And it's like, that's not how that works, you know? It's just like, it's just not, it's, the media you consume matters, and the things that you spend money on matters, and it shows culture, and it can be really damaging if your culture, if your media does not represent everybody in that culture, because it really alienates them a lot more than you might think that it does. Like, I can't understand it, obviously, because I am a white girl. Like, I can only understand it from a female perspective of not having too many females to look up to. But I, like, can't imagine not being able to have, you know, people to look up to that look like me, that make me feel like I can also be powerful and strong, and because that really matters, because like you are drawn to things that are like you, that you can look up to, that you can insert yourself into and go, they can do it, so can I, because they are similar to me. Like, most of the people that I look up to that obviously aren't Japanese idols are white women. Not all of them, obviously, because there's so many people that I just like love and respect and to look up to, but people that I really idolize are similar to me, because it's easy for me to insert myself there and say, they can do it, so can I. So it's so important to have those kind of figures for everybody, you know, that kind of representation matters. But it's,
you know, something that I find really interesting now that I'm thinking about Scarlett Johansson, like, as a person. Scarlett Johansson was in a movie, I think it was in 2013 or 2014, called Lucy. Which did not do well.
That's the other thing that is problematic.
I don't know a lot about. I have not seen the movie.
Neither
have
I.
I watched a lot of stuff about that movie in particular, Lucy, and I mean, it's like a technologically advanced movie where like these people live in the future. You know, the main character is played by Scarlett Johansson, is injected with some sort of serum that gives her like all these superpowers and makes her super, like, she can like do things with her mind and technology and like all this stuff, and she like fights crime and like does all this stuff. And I feel like maybe one of the reasons they cast her as the lead in Ghost in the Shell was because that movie was not good, and they were like, man, Scarlett Johansson tried to do this, you know, weird futuristic movie and it didn't work out, so we'll just throw her into that one. And I feel like it was like, the premises are a lot are very similar between Ghost
They
in the
are.
Shell and
And
Lucy.
people made a lot of comparisons between them as this was happening, and they were like, well, you know, this movie, like, Ghost in the Shell had a lot of the same problems as Lucy, apparently. I don't know much about it, but yeah, I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, and I, like, worry as to what this means for, like, the future of similar movies being made. But, actually, somebody I was talking to about it, a very lovely person, shout out to you, was saying that...
Thanks, lovely person.
was saying that, really what's going to decide the future of this kind of thing is really likely going to be the Mulan movie, because it will really show if, because they're saying that it's going to be an all-Chinese cast, and as a big Disney movie and something that a lot of people in theory love, that should be a no-brainer. But if it doesn't do well, then a lot of companies are going to say, see? Like,
Yeah.
we need white actors to make money, and it will decide probably the future for, like, the Aladdin movie and just so many other multicultural things in the future. And so I hadn't really thought about that, but that's really kind of true. Is like these movies like Ghost in the Shell and whatever, you can kind of make excuses for why they didn't do well aside from just the controversy around them. But these other things, it's like there's going to be nothing else to really rely on. So when those movies come out, go see them, support them.
Yes, please go see them. I think it's just going to end up being like we're going to enter a wave of. I mean, we've already been on the cusp of such like a movement in our society in general, where like racism is a topic. Like racism is a thing we have to stare in the face, and I mean, I feel like for my generation, it's kind of obvious because like I feel like for Alex and I's generation, we grew up. You know, having to face these kinds of issues, and so we are more willing to talk about them, but older generations, sometimes it's a little bit, like, touchy-feely.
I also feel like a lot of the problem, and I've seen this in, like, my own family whenever I discuss these kinds of things, is, like, with our generation, we are closer to people of other races and cultures, and, like, we mix a lot more because we're traveling a lot more, and, like, we're more willing to meet new people, and, like, because things are becoming more and more multicultural, like it's just natural for us to
grew up with the internet.
To understand the people who go through that, whereas like my grandparents, for example, they don't talk to anybody except other old white people, so they don't know that the issues that people are facing are real. You know, I always have to say to them like I know people going through this, because they'll be like, well, that's not real, that's not like an actual problem. I'm like, but like it's happening. Like I've seen it. Yeah. So it's a lot harder to push that kind of thing. But yeah, go ahead.
I think movies like Ghost in the Shell are going to kind of, and you know, the Aladdin movie, the Mulan movie, and I'm sure movies that will come soon enough are going to push the boundaries and how the media portrays them and how the production companies portray the movies. And do their casting is really going to make a difference in where we go on that topic publicly. So
it's gonna be a fun
I think it's
time.
gonna be really interesting.
Yeah. The next few years of Hollywood movies, as Hollywood gets more and more scrutinized for being exclusively white, and even as like black movies and black creators get more and more recognition, I saw a really interesting post that was like all of the people who have won awards in the past couple of years have been for like very specific roles and like very stereotypical roles, and I was like, oh, that's concerning. So it's going to be interesting to see where it goes, because it is a very, very important issue and something that I'm very glad is being talked about a lot more. But a point that I made a huge post on Facebook, and like I've talked about it a lot with people, is that the problem is so much bigger than just casting an Asian actress as Makoto in Ghost in the Shell. Like, that would not have fixed
Yeah.
the problem. It's so much deeper than that, and there's a lot more that we need to do, both as consumers and as people who, you know, are moving forward in those industries or whatever. If you are going into film and you're a writer, create more characters for different types of actors. If you're going into, like, literally any field that creates opportunity for people, you just have to, like, push your boundaries, and those kind of changes take time, and it takes a lot of effort. And as a consumer, where you put your money matters. You know, if you're going to spend money on movies, go see, like, a wide variety of different things and something that you might not normally see, and support things that have, you know, good ethics and all of that kind of stuff. Because it really does matter. Even though it's only $12 to you, once you do it and somebody else does it, it all really does add up. So.
Also, on that note, if you want to support, you know, other movie industries, you can. So, like I mentioned earlier, there are tons and tons of small theaters and international movie theaters around the country. There's probably one in the town where you currently reside. So please search out those movie theaters. They typically are really low price too. So if you want to see some international movies, please do so. Look them up on Netflix or anywhere. Get yourself involved in the entertainment culture of other cultures, and it kind of really helps you understand, like, the differences between our own and others, and you can actually help support their cultures and the movies that they're producing, because we get force-fed all of this stuff about our own entertainment industry and our own actresses, actors, artists, and whatnot. So please feel free to go and check out their work too and support them.
That's why I always talk about, this is like a slightly different subject, that's why I always talk about it. It's so important that if you like things like anime and idols and all that kind of stuff, supporting with money, if you can, like, obviously not everybody can, but if you can, is so important. Like, the fact that your name was showing in theaters and something like that, putting your money there really helps support and show theaters that that's the kind of content that people want. And I'm so happy that so many people went and saw it, and I mean, I already saw it, and I went and also saw it again, and so, you know, at the end of the day, those companies only care about the money that they are making. So if you want more things like that, you kind of have to give them your monies. So, yeah.
Do it.
Do the thing.
Yeah.
Again, I know not everybody can. Everybody's got, like, bills and school and all kinds of things to spend monies on. But even spending, like, $5 to buy a movie ticket for a matinee showing or something like that still helps. So. Yeah, things!
Yay! So, now we have the last part of our podcast. Do you have a notebook with you?
Yeah, these are my notes. I keep them in my planner. See? All the past... I'm very organized with it when it comes to this podcast. I gotta keep everything written down.
So, Alex, since I typically go first for the song of the week, you should go
You
first.
always say that, but I don't know how true that is. So my song of the week, I have been, over the past few months actually, very into this artist named Dream Ami. She is a member of Dream and also E-Girls, and I've never been very into E-Girls. They're just not really my style, but I think that they are very, very good. But I've been listening to a lot of Dream recently, which is a group that is in E-Girls. E-Girls is made up of, like, 4, I think, like, subgroups that came together and made E-Girls, but whatever. So, Dream Ami is very, very talented and wonderful. Her voice is really, really great. And she came out with a song in February called Hayaku Aitati, and it is really, really good and pretty, and her voice is just lovely, and the music video is very, very lovely to watch, and I also recommend going and looking at some of her other stuff because she's done a lot of covers. She's done Can't Help Falling in Love by Elvis and Love Fool by the Cardigans, which is one of my favorite songs of all time, and it is really, really good. She also did, this is just my, like, promotion for her now, she did the song Try Everything that was in Zootopia because she was the voice of the gazelle. Yeah, so lots of stuff like that. It's very good. She's very good. I recommend check it out. It's very nice.
Ooh, exciting. Nice.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to listen to that.
It's good. I recommend it.
My song of the week. Well, so this song came up on Spotify. What?
Wait, I also want to point out. So, the poll from the last episode, not to interrupt you, the AKB48 song won. And you always tell me that I never win the polls because I always pick a song that nobody knows. But that's the whole point. Guys, go listen to the songs I recommend. I just want you to know other idols, okay? Great.
Maybe you just pick a song. Well, this week is not going to be much different because, so this song came up on my Spotify a couple weeks ago. No, not a couple weeks ago, a couple days ago. And it's been, like, playing in my head ever since. I think it's just, like, it has a really nice beat, and I think, like, it's, like, one of those songs where I'm like, yeah, like, I'm going to keep trucking through life. And the song is Glitter by Perfume. I think it's really catchy. Yeah, I love the dance. I think it's great. Yeah. No copyright violation.
Well.
Stop singing. It doesn't matter. But I don't know. I really like that song, and I really appreciate it. And
It's very good. It's another good music video. It's very sparkly.
Yeah, but I like it. Bam, song of the week.
Boom! It's a Perfume song. I guess you didn't see that coming, did you?
Whoa. Whoa.
Alright.
But
Yeah.
that's all we have.
That's all we have for this week. What a jam-packed
What?
episode this was.
Yeah, I know. We talked about some serious stuff and also some not serious stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
to recap,
Oh.
yeah.
Thank you for listening.
Yes? Well, to recap, Game of the Week this week is still Starlight Stage because,
Life.
yes, it's great also. It's free. I'll copy and paste the instructions to download the game into the description box for you guys if you didn't see it on the last episode. Our songs of the week, Alex's song.
This is Hayaku Aitati by Dream Mommy. And Katya's
Yes.
is
Glitter by Perfume, and I will include links, appropriate links to both of those down below. I'll try to find MVs and links to those songs on Spotify and or iTunes or wherever you can listen to it. So check those out. Let us know what you think. Vote in the poll that we'll have after this episode goes up and after some people have seen the episode. We'll have a poll for you guys. Also, check out Perfume's drama, Hanse.
Yep.
It is available on the internet in various places.
maybe Netflix. Who knows?
Who knows? Other than that, I don't really think we had anything else to
No, I don't think so.
recap. But thank you guys so much for watching. We hope that this YouTube thing is working out for everyone and that everyone enjoys.
Yes. And if you ever have any suggestions or tips or things that you would like us to do, please let us know. We are very open and ready for interpretation and all of those things. Those weren't the words I meant, but you get it.
And please bear with us while we are still figuring things out. And yeah,
And enjoying
it's just slowly getting better.
it along the way. But now we are in lovely, nice picture and all of that. Go ahead and follow us on Twitter and make sure you subscribe for future episodes.
Do that thing. Anyway, thank you guys so much for what?
I was gonna say, go ahead and comment what you do while you're listening to this. Are you doing stuff around the house? Are you driving?
drive?
What's going on? Let me know. I'm just curious. That's the reason.
Also answer the question that we asked earlier in the episode where we talked about racism and
Races.
Ghost in the Shell. Please go listen to that segment. Let us know what you think and give us your comments in the description or the description under the description in the comments box or on Twitter where we also respond to your opinions.
Thanks for watching. We love you.
Thank you
and
guys so
have
much
a
for
good
watching.
week.
Bye bye.